My job is not to rival large tech companies. Um, I often hear this complaint with people that, the reason why they don't start something is because there's going to be a competitor or there's competition or, somebody out there is bigger and badder and stronger than you. And, that's always going to be the case. There's always somebody that's better than you. And for me, building the reciprocity platform, there's insanity to it all, right? There is always somebody that's bigger and better, right? The critique I get, so it's for creating nearly non-rejectable research papers and grants. A- and the idea is with the goal of creating non-rejectable papers, right? Um, what might that actually look like if we work towards that particular goal and we reduce all of the frictions to get there? Well, when I say this often, I used to frame it as a way is kind of like an editing platform. Um, but people used to get it confused and say, well, aren't you going against Grammarly? Aren't you going against um, ChatGPT and all of these large players? And the truth is, I never was competing with them. People did not see that. And the reason why I'm not competing with them is that those players, they're not addressing the same thing. They don't see the world the same way that I do. And so I am always going to have my own nuanced take on things. And, as a team that I'm building, it is always going to be different, the thing that we generate. It's always going to be unique, and it's not going to be competing head to head ever with any of those things. And when you look at your small town that you live in or the city that you live in, let's imagine you're in New York and you are deciding to open up another coffee shop. There's lots of coffee shops in New York. Everybody knows there's lots of coffee shops in New York. If somebody said I'm going to open up a coffee shop in New York, I'd say go at her, have fun, enjoy the process. The idea that you can't do something because there's a bigger, badder competitor out there is a complete misnomer. What you're going to realize is when you build something, just like yourself, just like everything else in life, you're competing against yourself. And so what does that mean? That means, well, if you're building, a company or, you're improving on yourself, you look to see at what you did in the previous month. And you say, well, I did this well and I didn't do that as well, or I wish it was a little bit different. And so you critique that, and you improve it, and you incrementally move forward, whatever that is, building something. You're not competing with anybody, never competing with anybody. And as long as you have that mindset, you will do well. And I know that this is completely counter to almost all of the economic mindsets that there are out there, frameworks. I know those ones. Um, but you have to have a little bit of faith that you're actually going to do well. This perspective aligns much more closely. There's a different economic view that is not quite as mainstream, but I think it's getting more play. There's this guy, Arthur, from I think, the 80s, was looking at the world a little bit differently in economics and crafted a different world that I think actually has a much better play in terms of how it actually works. And it fits within this paradigm that you learn, you incrementally maybe get a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse. And every step you kind of iterate towards something that is unique and different. and builds upon what was there previously. And I want you to really take this view that you're never ever really competing. And there's a lot of opportunity for everything. And as long as you kind of take this view that you're just refining, making things better, enjoying the process, you will actually build something that is actually pretty good, including yourself. You'll have something that's pretty damn good at the end of your life, even though there's 8 billion other people that exist in this world that you're competing against. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.